This is MOMAKKI with another episode of Studio Time, and today we're going to be talking about plosives and sibilance, getting rid of them without using a plugin. Let's go. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to pull up my window here. And I'm using Luna, which is UAD's DAW, but you don't have to be in the Luna DAW in order to do this. You can be in Pro Tools, Studio One, whatever, and do the same thing. All right, so I'm going to play this first line from this song, and we'll see where the plosives and sibilance is at.
Cosby's ghetto, the strings to pedal, they played the level, but
so right at the beginning, when he says Cosby's ghetto, the C pops out really hard. So let's go back to that beginning. So I can see where it is. It is right there, first line. You can see on the waveform where it sticks out more than any other part of the waveform. So what I want to do is where I'm going to cut this from at the beginning point and at the end point of the waveform, but I want to make sure that it's right where the line is that goes through the waveform. So right there and right here. So we'll cut that. Shrink it back down so we can see it. And now all I'm going to do is decrease the volume to get that waveform to match what's behind it and what's in front of it, which should be right about there. Okay, so I'll zoom back in, then we'll play it again.
Cosby's ghetto, the strings, Cosby's ghetto.
Now it's how it should be. It's not popping out, and that's all it is. So if you find a plosive with a P that does the same thing, or the S's is too hard, all you're doing is you're finding that point in the waveform where it sticks out, and you're just lowering the volume on it. That's it. Very simple. So let's go down here to the second line.
Poison settles into the roots with them.
Into the roots with them. That S on roots was very, very hard, which is right here, this whole thing. All right, so I'm going to zoom in on that a little more. Right about there. There we go, right there. All right, so I'm going to break it right here. And now we're going to bring that volume down to match the waveforms in front of it and behind it. And actually, I'm probably going to have to go back to the beginning of the line. Play it.
Poison settles into the roots with them. The love.
So now roots is calm. It sounds a lot better. So if I bring it back, oops, here we go.
Poison settles into the roots with them. Poison settles into the roots with them.
So it's a lot more calm. When it gets to the mastering point where it's bringing everything up, it's going to sound a lot better. Because if you thought it sounded bad now, when it gets to the point where everything is being brought up, it's going to sound a whole lot worse. So, this is a good editing technique to take care of during editing before you actually get into mixing and all of that, so that, you're taking care of those problems ahead of time. Now, with that being said, let me go ahead and get this out of here. So taking it out that way, to me, is a little bit better than doing it the plugin style, because when you're doing it with the plugin, it's only doing it for what you're listening to at that time. Maybe the increase or the way that it's said is a little bit different from the actual point that you're working on, so it's not going to catch it every time. This way, when you go in and do it, you're going to get it every single time. So it's going to be clean when you get it to the point in mixing and mastering. So to me, doing it, with a plugin doesn't save necessarily any time if you're having to go back later on and go back and fix it anyway. You're spending the same amount of time as it would to take doing it this way. And once you get good at this, I mean, you're running through it pretty fast and knocking them out. So I hope you learned something. This has been a learning moment for me as well. So I hope that gives you another tool in your box. If you don't have a plugin, or maybe you don't want to use a plugin or want to go in it much cleaner technique, this is a cleaner technique in order to get rid of sibilance and plosives. Hope you learned something today. I am your man, MOMAKKI. This is Studio Time, and I will catch you on the next one.